The need to connect. Feeding the inner garden. Within every human being lies a hidden world, a vast garden of traits, emotions, and reactions. This garden isn't a metaphor. It's a reality. It reflects our subconscious mind, the silent inner field where our patterns, values, and instincts take root. The farmer who walks this land is our conscious self, the one who observes, reacts, and chooses. But no farmer walks an empty land. All of us live among inner plants and creatures, and all of them must feed. Sometimes we feel low, bored, drained. Many mistake this for weakness or moral failure. But feeling out of energy doesn't mean you're bad. It only means one thing: the inner creatures are hungry. You need to feed, either by talking to yourself, connecting with others, or turning to God. These are the only true energy channels. There is no fourth path. When you're low, you're not lost. You're simply in need of one of these sources. But what exactly are we feeding? Our garden grows not just trees of skills and ethics, but emotional creatures, living entities that represent our inner moods. Every tree, every trait attracts a creature. When the plant is strong and upright, the creature it feeds becomes joyful, bold, calm. When the plant is weak or twisted, it breeds fear, jealousy, or pride. These creatures are always alive, always feeding, and they consume energy. But joy, true joy, is not a creature. Joy is the emotion that arises when our creatures are free. In early childhood, the farmer is still young and undeveloped. The seeds are just beginning to grow, and the creatures that emerge are still pure and unburdened. No weights have yet been added by parents, society, or self-talk, so the creatures move freely. And at this early stage, fear, which acts as the garden's gravity, is still light and purposeful. It serves as a natural resistance, a force that anchors us just enough to grow and alerts us when something is wrong. It is the tension that gives shape to learning and caution without harm. But when burdens are added to the creatures, through pressure, neglect, or judgment, this gravity becomes distorted. It pulls too hard. It holds growth down instead of guiding it upward. And so, the joy that once came from free movement begins to disappear. Joy arises when we feel free, whether from the natural lightness of early growth or from overcoming fear and gravity through achievement. In our silent moments, when we are not talking to anyone, the garden does not sleep. In fact, it becomes most active. Here, the creatures feed on what we already have, and if the farmer, the conscious mind, is unaware, he may unknowingly open the tap of spirit energy to the wrong creatures. This is what we call negative thoughts. These thoughts are not random clouds in the sky. They are the farmer feeding bad creatures, often without realizing it. The thoughts we repeat to ourselves about shame, fear, regret, or worthlessness become destructive forces within, and as they feed, they grow stronger. So strong, in fact, that they begin to demand more energy, and the more they take, the more drained we feel. Yet energy itself is not the enemy. It is neutral. It comes in two essential colors: love and anger. These are not traits. They are root energies. Love energy expresses itself through passion, tenderness, generosity, and empathy. Anger energy expresses itself as willpower, strength, determination, and courage. But both of these energies change in form depending on direction, whether they are turned inward toward the self or outward toward others. A person who feeds on love for the self and anger for the self might grow traits like arrogance, envy, or narcissism. These are bad traits, rooted in an inner desire to uplift the self at the cost of others. This is how arrogance becomes the seed of all other destructive traits. From it grows envy, jealousy, backbiting, and spite, all of which are simply distorted directions of energy. They are inward currents, spiraling around the ego. By contrast, someone who expresses love toward others and anger for others' sake may grow traits like generosity, mercy, justice, and courage. Their passion fuels kindness. Their willpower becomes a shield for the weak. This is the noble use of energy, the rightful direction of divine force. So the question is never just, do I have love or anger inside me? The question is, where is it pointed? And what is it feeding? And now we reach a deeper layer. What makes a trait good or bad in the first place? It's not random. It's not imposed. The answer lies in perception. Not a social perception, but a deeper universal one. It's the same perception that makes us admire trees, flowers, flowing water, blue skies, or gentle animals. It's the same sense that makes us recoil at decay, chaos, and violence, beauty and ugliness. This is the ancient compass. Good traits are simply forms of inner beauty. Bad traits are forms of inner ugliness. And just as nature instinctively draws us to the beautiful and warns us from the harmful, our souls carry the same programming. That is why this entire model is shaped as a garden. Because inside us, as in the world outside, beauty is what gives peace. Ugliness is what brings destruction. We long for inner beauty the way we long for light, and we flee from inner ugliness the way we flee from danger. Good and bad are not just words. They are the spiritual aesthetics of the soul. When we connect with others, we open a second channel of energy. People speak, and their words, filled with emotion, carry either seeds or poison. If their energy aligns with our bad creatures, we may feel strangely energized. But it is a dangerous high. We are being fed in the wrong direction. If we feel too comfortable around people with harmful traits, if their anger, pride, or greed feels familiar, it's because those same traits are alive within us. This doesn't make us bad. It makes us responsible. It means our inner garden has been overtaken by the wrong plants, and our creatures are seeking out the same food wherever they can find it. This is where awareness becomes everything. The conscious mind, the farmer, must recognize what lives in the garden, and based on that knowledge, he must choose new companions. Even if it's uncomfortable at first, we must surround ourselves with good people who plant better seeds, because good creatures are often small and weak in neglected soil. But with the right words, the right company, they can rise. There's another danger. When we sit with harmful people and feel uncomfortable, yet still remain. That is a sign the good creatures are protesting, and the farmer is ignoring them. The discomfort is wisdom, and when we don't act on it, the garden suffers. This is how we lose our inner compass. And then there is the third state, silence. Not loneliness, but solitude. In this state, the farmer is alone with the land. If the negative thoughts rise, if the voices of self-doubt, fear, or anger speak loudly, it means that bad creatures are feeding. You're giving them energy. Through internal dialogue, through emotion, through unconscious focus, you're watering the weeds. But here too, awareness can save. When the farmer notices this, truly sees it, he can close the tap. He can stop the flow of energy and turn towards something else. He can speak to himself differently. He can pray. He can choose another channel. These three states, self-talk, connection with others, and divine communication, are the only true energy routes in the garden. They are the only ways to refill what is lost. They are the farmer's tools. But the land itself matters too, and here lies the great truth of human difference. Not all gardens begin equally. Some are lush and fertile, easy to grow, easy to bloom. Others are dry, like desert land. They require patience, structure, support, and deep care. Just like the sands of the UAE can be turned fertile through method and effort, so too can hearts that seem barren. But it takes work, and it takes examples. That is why deep connection with others is essential, not shallow communication, not the hollow dialogue of modern media. The digital world promotes surface-level interaction, where no one truly sees the other's garden. But true communication, deep, honest, Intimate sharing allows the farmer to see new species of plants, new types of creatures, new methods of tending. It allows him to learn, adapt, and expand. Growth doesn't only apply to traits and emotions. The garden also grows knowledge, skills, spirituality, and social ability, all shaped by the farmer's awareness. As the farmer matures, so does his ability to guide growth quickly. What once took years can bloom in days. We must not fear diversity. Every person brings different soil, and from that soil, different trees will grow. Diversity is not noise. It is the music of creation. The more we connect, the more our farmer learns, and the more our creatures evolve. Still, we must remember, energy is sensitive. Creatures feed quickly, and the wrong interaction can nourish the wrong forces. The Quran speaks clearly of this in its division of human influence into two camps, Hizballah, the party of God, and Hizbul Shaitan, the party of Satan. This isn't about judging others or isolating ourselves. It's about recognizing that without awareness, we are always being pulled. We are always seeking the energy that feeds what is already alive within us. The farmer, our conscious mind, must take back control. He must observe what draws him, and if he finds that his garden is growing wild with bad creatures, he must go in the opposite direction. Seek what challenges him. Sit with the good, even if it feels unfamiliar. Seed better plants. Feed different creatures, because in the end, to connect is to feed. Every conversation is a choice of nourishment. Every silence is a moment of reckoning. Every prayer is a door to renewal. The garden doesn't rest. The creatures don't sleep. The tap is always waiting, and the farmer must choose where to pour. So let us connect, deeply, widely, intentionally, for even the most sacred gardens need sunlight from beyond their own soil. And as God said, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا, so that you may know one another. It is through this knowing that spirit energy flows. Through others, we awaken. Through connection, we grow. And through that connection, let us tend to our inner gardens with care, awareness, and divine purpose, so that what grows within us becomes something truly worth living for.